And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. World War II was a crazy time for this country. And we look back at the history books and there's a lot of things we can learn from them. Now, today we're going to look at an introductory war or battle game from Days of Wonder called Memoir 44, which really takes the history of what happened there, put it on the board so you can play it. It's mainly a two-player game, but you can play it with more play with teams. I think I've played it up to 6. I'd say it's an introductory level war game, but it is probably a light to medium weight game. And so let's check it out. I'll pop it open. Let's check out how to play, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Memoir 44 comes with a double-sided board. One of the sides is a forest or landscape only, and the other side not only has the forest, but has the beach and the ocean. Now, these boards will get flipped depending on the scenario that you intend to play. The board is set up for one of the 16 scenarios that come in the base game of Memoir 44. This one just happens to be Scenario 11, the Liberation of Paris. Now on the side closer to the camera, it's the green side or the Allied side, and the side on the other side of the board is the sort of grayish-blue side of the Axis side. Each scenario is different. They get set up differently with different terrain, with different armored vehicles, different armies, different infantries, different amount of cards are given to each side, different side starts first. Everything is completely custom depending on the scenario. In this case, the scenario, the Allied side, closest to the camera here, is dealt 5 cards, and the Axis side is dealt 4 cards. Now, typically these cards are going to be held secretly from the other player, but they're down on the tables for the ease of seeing. They also give you a nice little card holder here, way over here on the right, where you can put your cards on there so you can see them and you don't necessarily have to hold them during the game. So, how the game typically works is each side is going to battle each other one at a time. And again, the goal for winning is going to depend on that specific scenario. In this specific scenario, the first team to get 5 medals wins the round. Now, the game is played where each of you get to play the same scenario, and you both get to play both sides. So first I may play the Allied side here, and then after the game's over and someone scores 5 medals, I'll switch to the other side of the board, we'll restart the same scenario, and we'll play there. And then whoever has the most medals at the end of each of us playing once is the winner. So let's talk about how a turn works. Every turn functions pretty much the same way. Step 1, you're going to play a command card. 2, you're going to order an infantry or a armored vehicles. 3, you're going to possibly move them. 4, you're going to battle them. And 5, then you're just going to draw a new command card. So let's look at some of the command cards that we have here. From left to right here, we see the probe and issue an order to 2 units in the center. And you see how it has the dotted lines there. Now if you look at the board, you'll see a dotted red line here and a dotted red line here. It pretty much separates the board into 3/3, left, center, and right. This first card on the left says that I can order 2 units in the middle. Now obviously any of the ones that are completely in the middle, like these guys, are obvious, and you can actually move any of the ones that are on the dotted line on either way, because they could be considered to be either in the middle or on the right for these guys, in the middle or on the left for these guys. So I could order 2 units. So now with the different types of people that you have here, we have infantries. There's 3 major types. So we have infantries here, which are always started in groups of 4. We have tanks here that are always grouped in 3, which are also called armor. And also over here we have the assault, which always are grouped in 2. Those are the 3 main kinds of different types of units that you have in the game. And each unit has a different amount of different type of moving and battling. So, for example, the infantry can move 0 or 1 and battle, or move 2 and not battle. So for the infantry here, these are the army guys here. I can move 0 or 1 in battle, or move 2 and not battle. So yeah, I get to move 2 units here, and let's go ahead and move them 1 here And since I can move a second unit in the center, I'm going to move this guy, and since he's on the red line, I can move them. And you always have to keep all four together in a group. I've moved one. So I've moved this, I've ordered and moved these two from the center, and now I can battle. Now how we battle is, it's different for each of the types. We'll go through each of these one at a time. The infantry can basically battle from 3 spots away. And so the closest they come is, if it's the closest space, it's 3, 2, and 1. And what those numbers mean is how many dice you get to roll on that turn. Now the forest itself, you have different terrain here. Forest actually does block line of sight, but since I have a straight shot to the center of this hex to the center of this hex, this is just on the line, so I can actually still see these guys. If there was a second forest here, it would have blocked the line of sight because I would have had blocks on both sides there. Now I can battle these guys. Now it would be 3, 2. Now normally I'd be able to roll 2 dice here because infantry goes 3, 2, 1. So I could roll 2 dice here. Now they have a sandbag, and we can see from the sandbag, the terrain alterator, for it's -1 die for each infantry. So normally I would have 3, 2, but it's -1 because of the sandbag, so I get to roll 1 die. Now the dice itself have 5 different emblems on them, even though it's a 6-sided die. 2 of them are the army infantry looking guys. You have a grenade, you have a tank, you have a star, and you have the flag. Well, the infantry guys, that does a hit if you're trying to shoot other infantries. So the grenade can pretty much hit anything. The tank does damage only if you're shooting at a tank. The star is a miss, and the flag is a retreat, which would make the people you're shooting retreat back 1 space towards away from you. So I'm gonna have 1 die here, and I'm gonna roll it, and it's a tank. So in this case, I missed. Now, if it were an infantry person or a grenade, I would have hit and killed one of these guys, and one of these guys would have been removed, and there's 3 left. Now, we talked about the object of the game is to get 5 medals. Now, there are 1 of each medals in each of these villages, and the Allied side would claim a medal by claiming any one of these and having units on them. As long as there's a unit on any of these, they've claimed this medal, and they would put it down here on the side of the board where they hold the medals. And if they get 5 of these, they win first, whoever gets 5 first. So one of the ways to claim the medals, at least for the Allied side, is to claim where the medal areas are, and those change for each scenario. The other way to get a medal is to kill every part of one sort of grouping. So if I ended up killing all 3 rest of these guys here, and there's none left, you take the last guy. Let's say this guy had gotten killed, this guy had gotten killed, there's 1 left, and I roll an infantry and he gets killed. When the last person of a group gets killed, I keep them as a medal. Now for the tanks, there's only 3 of them, so if you kill all 3, one of their tanks would come here for a medal. And for the artillery, if you killed both of those, the last one would go here. So either killing them or capturing one of the spots that's a medal, the Allied scores a medal. Now for the Axis side, they're pretty much defending these areas. Pretty much the only way they get medals in most of the scenarios is to really kill off, just like I just explained. So if they kill off all of them from any of the hexes, they would get to keep the last guy for a medal. So that's how a typical turn would work. Is we played the card, we moved, we ordered, we moved, we battled. This card would go in the discard pile, and then we would pull a new command card. And then it would be Axis's turn. So let's do an Axis turn here. They have, let's say, an attack, order 3 units on the left. Now keep in mind, they're playing this side of the board, so this is their left, even though it's your right. So they're going to play this card here that's attack 3 left, order 3 units. Now they only have 2, so they will only be able to use 2 here. Now let's talk about, we've already talked about infantry, so let's talk about the artillery here. They get to shoot 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. And so they actually get to shoot from the farthest away area. So they go 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and they're going to try to shoot the tanks way over there in the corner. So they're going to get 1 die, they're going to roll it, and again, if it's a tank, one of these tanks would be destroyed. And again, if on subsequent turns they end up killing both of these, they take 1 for a medal, and they only need 5 medals to win the game. So That way, and then they can decide not to order this other unit. Maybe they like having them in the sandbags and they're not going to use them. So they've just ordered this one and shot and killed them. We haven't talked about how the tanks battle, so let's do that. Let's say on my turn I played this card here, which was order 2 units to the left. So I'm going to play this card here, and I'm going to order 2 units to the left. So the tanks can move 0 to 3 units and battle. So when we do that, we can move here, and then the tanks always fire 3, 3, 3. So no matter how far they are, they're always going to be rolling 3 dice. So with the tanks, you want to get at least 3 away. So let's try to sort of kill these guys here. Let's move these tanks here, for example. And now we have line of sight to here. Now the tanks can shoot 3, 3, 3. So they would be able to roll 3 dice here. Now again, these guys have sandbags, and the sandbags is -1, even for the tanks, as you can see. So it would normally be 3 for 3, 3, 3. They get 2 because it's -1 there. So they're going to roll the dice 2. And again, if it's there's 1 infantry and 1 miss. So in this case, one of these guys would get killed and moved. So there. So you have the 3 different units: the armor units, which is the tanks; the infantry, which is the army guys; and the artillery. Now we didn't talk about artillery moving. They can move 1 or battle. So we've talked about the different ways that each of them can move, and each of them can sort of battle. And this goes on and on, back and forth, going back and forth until someone has completed 5 medals for this specific scenario. Now I do want to show you some of the different cards that are in here, because we didn't get to a whole lot of them during the game. Just show you that there's not just regular cards, there's some special cards too. For instance, Barrage. Target any 1 enemy unit, roll 4 battle dice, ignoring any terrain, battle die reduction, score 1 hit for each die, matching the unit symbol or grenade. So that's cool, it's like sort of a special one. Another special one, behind enemy lines. Issue an order to 1 infantry unit. Unit may move up to 3 hexes. Unit may battle with 1 additional die, then move again 3 hexes. So again, all these are usually pretty powerful types of things. Direct from headquarters. Issue an order to 4 units of your choice. So any 4 units on the board you can move. That's a pretty powerful card. Right? Here's one where you could do 1 of each, left, center, and right. And then there's some of these special cards. The last one I'll show you is Armor Assault. Issue an order to 4 armor units. So that's 4 tanks. Units in Close Assault roll 1 additional die. Close Assault is essentially being right next to somebody. Alright, well there's Memoir 44. I've been blessed enough to be able to go to France. I've been to Normandy. I've been on the beaches and seen the bunkers that they were hiding in, and it was moving. I've seen the crosses, the thousands and thousands of crosses of the people that we lost there, and it was chilling while we were there. And this game kind of brought that back to me of being there. The cool thing that I really like about this game is its historic value, where each mission, not only do you just set up a board and let's just blow each other up, you're setting up a board, you're setting up a real scenario that happened. This is real history here. It gives you a good synopsis of what was going on there, the date and the time that happened, what really happened. And then thematically, not only do you set up the board to the way that the battle was, but you also set up, you know, the day, the time, how the battles, who starts first. Oh, they were surprised, so they start with 4 cards instead of 5. So thematically, it's really cool. I love the historic part of this game. It really rang close to me. Now, the battle sequence itself, I think this is a great introductory war games or battle game. The battle system is very simple. You know, you've got only 3 different types of units that you can move and order and fight with, and they're very simple. You know, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 3 for the tanks, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1 for the artillery. You can catch on within 1 game. So I love that it's simple, yet it was still interesting, and the strategies were still there. The other thing I really liked about it was that you play both sides. For example, Omaha Beach. That's the one where they're coming on the beach and everybody else, that Axis team's on the hills. They're on a bunch of hills and bunkers, and they're pretty much blowing you to bits. They're blowing the Allied team to bits, and it feels like you almost cannot even come close to winning as the Allied. But as the game says, you get to play both sides of the scenario, and whoever has most medals wins. That is really cool because the battles are real. The Allies were they were overmatched by far in that battle. And so probably the Allied team's going to lose both times. You get to play once on the losing team, once on the winning team. But if you're the losing team and you get more medals than the other team got when they lost, you get to win. So I think that's cool. You get to play both sides of the scenario. I really like that. So all in all, easy, it's simple, you can learn it within one thing, it's easy to teach. I like how you can play. I did play it with 4 people, where 2 of us on each team. Yeah, it's not as good as 2 players, but we set up the game. We were just getting ready to play, and 2 more people from the game group showed up right when we were getting started to play. I wasn't going to break it down because it takes a while to set up the scenarios. We played 2 and 2, and it worked. So I wouldn't always play it that way. I would definitely much rather play it with 2, but the fact that you kind of can and has rules to playing it with teams is also a plus. So if you're looking for a light to medium introductory battle game, this is definitely one you're going to have to check out because it's simple, it's fun, it's elegant, and the history is amazing.
So much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.